Hello. This is my name is Julie, and this is my official log, and it is 11:59 a.m. February 15th, 2019. I'm here to discuss my mission in getting well and getting my life back. At this time, I understand that there's no such thing as coincidences. I also understand that things that happen around me are also not coincidences, and that everything I say and every move I make impacts everybody around me, including my animals, my pets, my friends, strangers, people around me, and family and children, as well as relatives. I can choose to not see the true picture. I can choose to not make good decisions. I know that I'm not always going to make the right decisions, and I understand that I continue to be a student in this world, on this earth, and that every day, regardless of what I do from this moment forward, is a learning experience. Every second that passes my way is a second in my past. And it also gives me an opportunity to make better decisions in the future. On that note, I'm beginning to realize now, at the age of 50, that things or people or strangers, usually strangers, come up to guide me and help me along the way and give me support and encouragement, or even messages. I've even received messages, actual messages to actually do certain things in order to save me or help me on my spiritual journey, or my religious journey, or just my journey personally. I have been told by a few people even that my future, even though they don't mention dates or times, was going to be very difficult, and to warn me to basically take care. I know that even though, okay, I have to pause. Thank you. I must comment now on the road ahead and my future. Here's little things that I've noticed. I've noticed that everything happens for a reason, and that I have learned through no fault of my own and from mere curiosity and exploration that the more I suffer, the more I seem to learn, and that I always seem to feel like when I'm talking to the air, or it seems like I'm talking to myself, that I'm not. I'm talking to somebody, some ultimate power, some universal being or thing or energy. I don't know exactly what it is. Everybody calls that a different thing, but I've never seen this God that I believe in and that I believe is always with me. But I find that when I ask for help, I always receive it almost instantaneously, regardless of how much I'm suffering. I've learned just today that hypnosis is not usually a good idea for anybody who's suffering with severe mental illness. And I thought that would be my only way out, and the only way that I'd be able to get better is to remember. It turns out that because my mental illness is so complex, that's why they give it the word severe. I have so many multi-things going on all at once at any given second that I can go from fine to not in 2 seconds flat, if that. Probably faster than the speed of light, really. But my thoughts, they never stop. The negative thoughts are even more powerful than my positive thoughts, and I have to fight really hard to push that away. And a lot of times the only thing that fixes that is time. But I sit here and I say to myself, everything's happening exactly the way it should. And that this is almost like, this life is almost like a game. Almost like I need to look at it like a game. Dr. Phil said something the other day when he was on a Late Late Show and he was going in the karaoke ride with, I can't remember his name, but he's on the Late Late Talk Show. And he does karaoke with all of these stars and sings with them their songs and whatnot. And I believe he's a real genius too. But what Dr. Phil said was, if you can figure out what makes people tick, he says, then you're way ahead of the game. What makes them tick and what makes them not tick. I believe at the end of the day, we all just want to be respected and acknowledged. Not acknowledged or believed when everything that is being said by all of us, but acknowledged of our own existence. To feel like what we have to say matters, and that even if somebody doesn't believe it, for them to look at you and say, I hear you, I feel your pain, I see you, I acknowledge you as a human being, and I'm sorry that you suffer, and that I'm here for you. In whatever means or whatever way that person wants to receive that, I believe that's universal. I believe that's all we're here for, and that's what we're here to learn. We're here to learn how to be among each other and around each other while learning our life lessons at the same time. It's like an infinite amount of time in school. It feels like every day is never going to end and it's forever. And some days I just wish they'd end because they're so exhausting and I don't even know if I can get through them. But by the grace of God, by the grace of something, I seem to make it through every single day. And even when I think that I'm not going to be able to handle tomorrow, I always do. And I don't even think it's because I believe. It's because it's the way it's supposed to be. That we have to trust in the process. The life's process. My doctor, and I never told her this, but somehow she knew she wasn't going to be with me for a long period of time. Somehow she knew that I needed her in my life for that 8 years. And somehow she knew that she wasn't going to be there far into the future. And I never really remembered that until after I lost her. And I realized she always knew. It was almost like it was going to happen, regardless of how well I behaved or whatever I had done. She knew that she was going to ultimately have to let me go in order for me to progress and heal and carry on with my journey, because she could only take me so far. Do you see? Because her expertise and what I needed, well, I had went far beyond her capability of helping me. And that was just that piece.
So
right now I'm making this video so I can talk about my plan for the future. I've realized at this moment that even though things appear to be scary, it's okay to feel, and it's okay to be angry or to feel sad or happy as long as you do it in a healthy way where it's not affecting or hurting you or others. It's perfectly logical, perfectly fine. It's to be human, is to have all of these emotions, and there is no wrong answer of how any of us are allowed to feel at any given time. So, it's interesting. No matter what I do, no matter how protective I am over my children, if something's meant to happen to them, there's nothing that I can do to avoid it. When my son was a baby, I always had this awful feeling inside of me that somebody was going to take him away. I didn't know how, I didn't know when, and I spent all of those years protecting him from the outside and doing my best to stop whatever it was that was consuming my mind, telling me that something bad was going to happen. And then when it did, I wasn't even here. And I realized that that was the only day I was meant to volunteer at this place. And that I went through all the process of volunteering there and doing all the application and all of the stuff, having no idea what was about to happen. And the day that I went to volunteer was the day that all of it happened, and I couldn't have stopped it anyway. Because it was meant to happen. And it was the only way that it could happen, because if I would have been here, I would have lost my mind. So I wasn't supposed to be here. Anyway, my point is, you just have to realize that you just have to wake up and face the day is the only job that we really have. And whatever obstacles, whatever things come our way, A, we need to tell ourselves we're not alone. And B, it seems that whatever we're supposed to get through, we get through. We always find a way. There's always a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. Okay, so that's that. So my future is what I want to talk about. I want to put this in my login to say, my innocence is something I'll never get back. That's something that you have at youth, as a youth. And I'm no longer young anymore. And so me spending these last 27 years trying to find my innocence and get that back again after somebody had taken it away from me, I realized at this very moment that that is not possible. It is not possible mathematically, it's not possible psychologically, it's not possible in any way. I cannot ever be that person that I was before that rape happened. And I can either choose to bury that and not live my authentic life and let it go, or I can choose to let it go and move on with my life and say that's in the past, and that's where it needs to stay, is in the past. And it's not something that I need to relive anymore. As far as the innocence piece goes, I've dealt with all the other stuff, but I haven't dealt with the innocence part. And I feel like I'm a true warrior, not because I survived, but because I found ways to still be here. And I'm not saying it was easy. And there was a lot of times I was over the sink with cold water running over my hands, because I'm told that's how you ground yourself whenever you're mentally unstable or you don't feel like you're here, that you're somewhere else. You put your hands into the cold water and you let it run until you come back, until you can feel your feet again, until you can feel your body. That's called grounding. And many times I cried, probably more tears than what was coming out of that tap at full blast. Very, very, very difficult moments where I couldn't breathe for like 2 or 3 hours because my nose got so stuffed up and plugged that I couldn't breathe at all through my nose because of too much crying. I have a lot of anger inside. And I've learned that that's okay, because better out than in. Got to get it out physically. Got to get things out. When you're not well, you throw up. It gets all the bad out. Every day after you eat, you poop. You get all of that bad waste out of you, because if you don't, you feel sick. It's no different on the inside, in our minds. You also have to get it out, and the best way to get that out and the biggest healing quality you can find is crying. Because once you release that negative energy through crying or screaming or taking a bat and hitting, a fence or a log or, going at a punching bag. I have a punching bag downstairs. I went at it with a bat. My arms hurt when I was done, but I felt a lot better mentally. You can't keep it inside. It has to go somewhere. You have to face your feelings and emotions, deal with them, and let them go. Be realistic and tell yourself, whatever happened, happened. It's done. It's not going to happen again. And celebrate whatever scars you have, whether they're physical or mental. Treat them as medals of honor, all of them. Because you got through it. And each individual has its own journey and its own things that you have to go through. And they're equally as hard and equally as important as everybody else. That's it. That's the secret. And to love one another. You don't have to love what they do. But to know that each person is going through their own thing. And that it's not good to judge. It's not good to judge. I believe there's good qualities in everyone if you just look hard enough. It is there. Sometimes you have to remind yourself what it is that you are trying to find or what you knew many years back. When Barry raped me, he was very, very, very angry inside. He was devastated that his wife left him. He was upset that she wouldn't come back and that he couldn't touch her. And because I looked like her, he thought that if he raped me, he would feel better and he could get rid of all of that anger that he had, that he was carrying inside. And it made him mad. On the inside, it made him go mad. And it made him make cowardly decisions and awful decisions on a person that just wanted to be his friend and help him. Even at that moment, I was trying to help him all the way through, even when he had threatened to do this to me. And I was angry because I couldn't fight back because I was drugged and I had alcohol in my system. And I was unable to see or fight back. And that's what made me angry the most, not the rape itself. I knew that he was hurting inside. I was that person that could see beyond what he was doing to me, knowing full well that he probably had a terrible childhood. He probably didn't have the support that I had when I was a child. He probably was bullied. His wife probably devastated him when she walked out with maybe his children. I don't know what his history was. I just know that he was suffering and that he stopped caring and he stopped trying and he just wanted to hurt people. And in the end, it made him sick. And he ended up losing his life. And so he didn't know how to get it out. He didn't know how to let it out in a healthy way. And because of that, I was a sacrificial lamb and I was the one who suffered. But I'm okay with that now. And I have forgiven him for that act. That doesn't mean that my severe PTSD is going to go away, because it probably won't. But it means I have grown by leaps and bounds. You got to see beyond the pain. No matter what you're going through, you have to see beyond the pain. You have to look all around you and notice all the things, big and small. What got you to that place in the first place? How you're feeling at any given moment, knowing that it's perfectly okay to be imperfect. We are imperfect. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're a doctor, a lawyer, or the Pope. None of us are perfect. Priests, they don't have all the answers. My priest lost both of his parents, and he flew right off the handle. He just got to the point where he fell into a depression. He couldn't even catch himself until he almost died. Had a liver transplant because he was trying to drink himself to death, because he couldn't handle the fact that his parents were gone, and he blamed himself. That's sad. And he learned all the religion that you need to know, and that didn't even save him. That couldn't even save him. He was no longer happy inside. We're all vulnerable. We all have to hang on. We all have to keep fighting. I know my father is okay now. He did get a second chance. He was saved, and he does see the light again. But he had to go through that kind of rock bottom in order to pick himself up again. Doesn't matter who you are. I've seen doctors fall. I knew of a doctor that lived in a closet for several weeks after he watched his son die in front of his eyes. He lost his mind. And I was the only one that would sit there and look at him right in his eyes while he would speak about his pain, trying to be strong. He didn't handle it any better than we did because of all the knowledge he had and all the training. Becoming an MD didn't help him at all go through that. We have to help each other get through this lifetime. And everybody that crosses our paths, all of them are either going to be affected by you or you're going to be affected by them, or they're going to help you or you're going to help them. It's up to you to pay attention to that and to learn and grow and become stronger every single second of every single day, because every second that is ahead of you is another second for you to do things better, or to do things right, or to make a better decision, or to hold on, or to carry on, or to be there for whoever you need to be there for. And life is hard. Life is really fucking hard. So I'm making this log to tell you that I'm going to a support group now, and that it's okay if I make them cry. I imagine eventually they're not going to cry anymore because they're just going to get used to me, and then maybe they'll either become my friends or they're not going to like me at all anymore. But either way, that's not my decision to make. All I have to be is myself and tell my story so I can heal. And if I can bring other people along with me in the journey of my healing to help them heal too, so be it. And if I don't, I don't. But at the end of the day, I have to take care of me. I always have to meet my basic needs every single day, and I need to take care of me. I love going to the movies. I love singing. I love coloring. I love reading children's storybooks, putting that online. I love having these talks with you. And I want you to all know that you are loved and that nobody is alone. So take care and live your life. I don't know if I've said everything I wanted to say. I'm going to try and do a Reiki course. And I'm going to learn about Reiki, and I'm going to learn about hypnosis. And I'm learning about how to become a mystical traveler. Because I want to be a humanitarian. I want people to know they're not alone. I need to tell myself I'm not alone. And that it's okay, and I'm okay. No matter how I feel, I'm always okay. As long as you can feel your heart beating, that's all you need to know. Deep breaths. Check to see if your heart's still beating. Carry on. I'm going to start letting go of the things that hurt me. And I'm going to put it where it belongs, in the past. One step at a time. And if I fail, that's okay too. I'll just get right back on my feet and try again until I get what it is I'm looking for. I'll keep going back wherever it is I need to go until I find what I'm looking for, till I hear what I'm looking for, till I see what I'm looking for, till I start feeling better. And that may not be every day, but that's okay. That's okay. At the end of my life, I know that I'll be glad that I chose to be here. And I am God's child. just as important as any other child of his. But I'm not going to look like anybody else. I'm going to be me. And I want to make him proud. I want to respect all human life, all forms, all living forms, and even things that are not. I love rocks too. I love everybody. There's different kinds of love, people. And it's okay to love one another. It's okay to not love somebody. If you don't love somebody for a reason, it's not that you don't love them, it's that you don't love what they do. That's the difference. I wish you all the happiness in the world.